on Zoom who have joined us. And we are so pleased today to present the James A. Kelly Award for Advancing Accomplished Teaching to Dr. Mary Vixie Sandy. We're looking forward to presenting her this award in person, but unfortunately, as we said earlier, she tested positive for COVID on Wednesday afternoon, so we don't get to see her beautiful, bubbly face with us in the room. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'm honored to present the James A. Kelly Award for Advancing Accomplished Teaching to Dr. Mary Vixie Sandy. This award is given to recognize and honor individuals who provide clear, consistent, and convincing evidence of their ability to foster Jim Kelly's legacy of accomplished teaching. In addition to his founding role in the National Board, Jim's legacy includes a deep-seated belief in the inherent right of all children to a quality education. A professional life dedicated to improving education for teachers and their students, passionate commitment to improving teaching and learning in America, unwavering dedication to the professional integrity and competence of teachers, and an innate capacity to inspire collaboration and mobilize support that enabled unparalleled achievements in the history of American education reform. This year's recipient of the James A. Kelly Award is most deserving of this award. Dr. Mary Vixie Sandy is Executive Director of the California Commission on Teaching Credentialing, the CCTC, the nation's oldest independent standards board for educators. Dr. Sandy has more than 30 years of experience in higher education and government. In her current position, she oversees the policy related to educator preparation and licensing. She previously served as the Executive Director of the UC Davis School of Education, the Crest Center, and Associate Director of Teacher Education and Public School Programs with the California State University Chancellor's Office, and as a policy analyst for the California Department of Education and the California Post-Secondary Education Commission. Throughout her professional career, she has been focused on building the capacity of teachers, leaders, public schools, and communities to meet the needs of California's diverse student body. Heidi Rodriguez serves with Mary on the California Commission and is a former board member of the National Board. At the beginning of her tenure on the commission, Heidi said that she was thoroughly impressed with Mary's deep knowledge of accomplished teaching and her profound respect for the teaching profession. Her desire to have an accomplished teacher in front of every child in California is what undergirds the transformational policies that have taken place in the past 8 years under her leadership. Heidi also stated, equity isn't a word to check off a box for Dr. Sandy, equity is an action. Under her leadership at the CTC, she has been transparent and intentional about her commitment to transform the structures that have created barriers for teachers of color and has advocated for having the most qualified teachers working with the most vulnerable students. Like Jim Kelly, Dr. Sandy is an intellectual, is humble, and is working to elevate the voice of our profession. It is our greatest honor to present the James A. Kelly Award for Advancing Accomplished Teaching to Dr. Mary Vixie Sandy. Mary, we are so sorry you were unable to join us in person. I was waiting on one of those big, wonderful hugs that you always give. And our thoughts are with you for a speedy and full recovery from COVID. And we'll be sending that award to you by mail. And I just want to turn it over to you now for a few words.
Thank you so much, Peggy, and members of the board. Peggy, I think you're sitting all the way at the end of the room, so I can't see your lovely face, but I truly wish that I could have been there. I thought I was a unicorn. I'd survived without COVID catching up with me for fairly long time, but pride goeth before a fall, as they say. And so we're going to do it this way. And I am so profoundly honored to receive this award from the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. I can't think of an organization that I respect more for the work that we do and the work that we do together across this country. I'm so impressed with the work of James Kelly. He and I have not had a chance to meet, but his vision, his advocacy, his drive, the drive and the conditions that enabled the creation of the National Board. What an incredible contribution to the work that we're all trying to do to advance accomplished teaching across this country. Travis Bristol, I have enormous respect for you and the work that you've been doing in California to help us diversify the teaching profession and really look at systemic ways in which we can do that. Gavin Payne, it's great to see you. Another Californian. I appreciate incredibly the years and years of service that you have devoted to California education. We share a common goal here around advancing accomplished teaching. Now, full disclosure, I am not a credentialed teacher. I studied philosophy as an undergraduate, and my master's work was in philosophy and education. And my doctorate from Berkeley is in leadership for education equity. When I was interviewing for the job of executive director for the commission, one of the members asked me, "Do you think that's a problem? Shouldn't the director of the Commission on Teacher Credentialing hold a credential?" And the best answer I had at the time, I think it speaks my truth, which is that the commission and its work is neither enabled nor constrained by any particular practice I've had as an educator. Everything I know about teaching, I've learned from teachers. And I've seen and known some exceptional teachers. I've had and experienced myself some exceptional teachers. I've put 3 children through public schools, and I've learned a great deal through that process. And I think it's really quite critical for the work that I do at the Commission on Teacher Credentialing to be informed by teaching practice. So that is really the best part of the work that I get to do. Had the great privilege of working with 3 national board certified teachers on our commission. We set a goal of reaching out and looking to see if we could bring particularly teachers of color, but teachers of color who are national board certified into the conversations at our table. Aide Rodriguez is a mentor and a friend and somebody whose practice I admire tremendously. Michael De La Torre joined the commission last year and is another passionate advocate, especially in the area of early childhood education. Christopher Davis, the work he's doing with the Stanford Resource Center for National Board is really powerful in terms of, and working with the California Teachers Association to bring BIPOC teachers into national board certification. Really important work that's happening out here and work that I'm so proud to be part of. I've had a number of teachers in learning the work of, what does it take to become a teacher, and how at the state level can we set the conditions for recruiting and preparing the workforce that we need. Dr. David Wright, who worked at the commission in the 1990s, was probably my first teacher and somebody who enabled me to really learn and explore as we engaged in significant overhaul of the credentialing system in California. Dr. Michael Kirst, 4 terms as the president of the State Board of Education. Is that not incredible? What a dedication to public service and bringing the research and the policy work that he's done. He's extraordinary in terms of higher education in the academy, but to bring that work to bear on advising 2 governors over 16 years. What a great teacher he has been. Dr. Tina Sloan, former director of teacher education at UC Santa Barbara, who has been on the commission, she currently chairs our commission, has really helped us to see, has helped me to learn about the ground game in teacher education. How do you work in teacher education to enforce standards and to really understand that teachers are ready to begin practice. She's done some incredible work and research with Cap Peck and others on the use of performance assessment for this purpose. It's a tool around which we share DNA, the Commission on Teacher Credentialing and the National Board. And Linda Darling Hammond, I've worked with Linda for decades now in various capacities, but had the extraordinary good fortune to work with her as the chair of the commission for 7 years until Governor Newsom brought her over to be the president of our State Board of Education. These people have been my earliest mentors and teachers in learning how to do this work, and I'm so grateful to them. I wouldn't have the opportunity to be with you in any meaningful way if I hadn't had great mentors and teachers along the way who've really focused on what is possible in teaching and what's good in teaching and what's needed in teaching. How do we go about setting the table for that? So really, it's the work that we've been doing at the Commission. When I say we share DNA, we have been deeply inspired by the work of the National Board. The 5 core propositions are woven throughout our standards for preparation of the workforce and our performance expectations. In the 1990s, as I mentioned, we engaged in a significant overhaul of credentialing during a time when the National Board was gaining traction across the country, and we were going deep into investigation of how can we do a better job of retaining teachers in the profession. We began our work with the California New Teacher Project, which became the Beginning Teacher Support and Assessment Program, where we modeled and tried out lots of different forms of formative assessment, working with teachers to engage in their practice and to think through their practice. And what we learned is that we could turn the corner with many teachers if we put them with a strong mentor and enabled them to have a guide with them coming into their practice and looking at their practice with them using a variety of formative assessment strategies. This really set the foundation for our work in 1998 and moving into the following decades around performance assessment becoming a core technology within teacher preparation in California. And we've been able to really use performance assessment as a way of moving the knowledge base of teaching from the abstract to the concrete, developing our intentional goal in the way we set the standards and utilize performance assessment is that teachers learn the habits of mind that will set them on a trajectory towards national board certification if that's the direction they want to go. Habits of mind where they engage in planning instruction, where they really attend deeply to the assets and the needs of the students before them. They are able to design instruction that's based in content that is engaging for the students and adapted to those needs and assets. So planning instruction based on who you're teaching and what you're teaching is a core practice and a habit of mind we're cultivating. Teaching the lessons that you design, assessing student learning, determining who got it, who didn't get it, what am I going to do next? Plan, teach, assess, reflect, apply. Right, that's the core set of habits that we're trying to inculcate in teachers that, by the way, you can find their anchoring kind of foundation in the 5 core principles of the National Board. So our goal has been intentionally for years to set teachers through their preparation programs on the path to national board certification. And this plan, teach, assess, reflect, apply is really the mode that we're working on. We are all experiencing the tensions right now in teaching and in our schools. The pressure on teachers that they've been experiencing through COVID, and as we come out of COVID and come back into in-person practice with one another. The pressures have been profound, and we see and hear from teachers who many of whom have reached their limit and either need to take a hiatus or some are considering a completely new reset in their lives. Shortages of teachers exacerbate these pressures on the teachers who are there and the leaders who are there trying to make schools work for children in a post-COVID, if you will, environment. Shortages also lead policymakers to abandon standards a lot of the time, and we're seeing this in other states where we are allowing people into classrooms as teachers of record without even a baccalaureate degree and without much of an orientation at all. It should be of great concern to all of us, especially all of us that are focused on equity as a primary goal, and equitable access to an education for our children as a primary foundational goal for the work we do. So the abandonment of standards in the face of shortages is a serious tension, where the staffing of classrooms seems to be more important often than staffing classrooms with people who are prepared to actually be there. California has been investing significantly in our infrastructure to try to combat that, both through building significant investments in residency models, as well as other models and pathways into teaching, and as well as scholarships, forgivable loans that will help us to attract and recruit and make possible entry into the profession for many. We've been looking at various barriers that we know have had an impact on people coming into the profession, barriers represented by testing in many cases. California's made some very interesting decisions about expanding opportunities to demonstrate subject matter knowledge, basic skills knowledge. We are moving, we've been doing performance assessment for more than 20 years here, and the state legislature recently enacted legislation allowing us to take our reading test, the RECA, and convert it into a performance assessment. We think that that's going to be helpful in terms of preparing the next generation of teachers. We really have gone all in on performance assessment being a fundamental theory of action. If we want to prepare teachers, it takes more than just pouring knowledge into their heads. We need to put very good opportunities to practice and learn into their clinical experiences, and the performance assessments are enabling us to do that. The national board investments in California have continued. This year we have the $250 million, we've got a $25,000 scholarship available for national board certified teachers who agree to serve in high priority schools. Funding to support national board certification also has been provided in recent years. The National Board Resource Center is doing some amazing work, as I mentioned before. And my goal, really professionally, as we face the tensions that we're facing, and as we continue to try to hold firm, my first priority for me is to hold fast to standards and a concept and a fundamental commitment that teachers who we assign to classrooms are prepared for that work. That's an equity commitment for us to the children that we serve. I'm also committed, and I think we have to share as a goal, our community, the community that's on this call, and the broader communities with which we work, to take stock of the barriers that teachers experience to entry, and to look at what we can adapt, how we can adapt entry and retention in the profession, and the conditions that enable entry and retention in the profession, to remove what barriers we can, and to continue to do that. But really, primarily, one of the things that I've been saying for some time, I've said this to Peggy a number of times, is that in California, we really need to grow our national board certified teacher population. I would like for every student teacher and every resident teacher in this state, and we may have as many as 15 to 20,000 of them every single year. Every single one of them should have the opportunity for clinical practice in a national board certified teacher's classroom. That's how we advance the profession together. That's how we model and inspire the veteran workforce and the incoming workforce. And it's something I would really love to continue to work with you strategically to set us on the path forward in that direction. So again, I am just deeply, deeply moved to have this opportunity with you and to receive this award in the name of James A. Kelly. And I thank you very, very much for this honor.
Thank you, Mary. And you join your colleagues, your mentors, presidents, and those that we've all admired over the years, but so deserving. And we'll look for it in the mail. We'll get it there.
Thank you. Thank you.